We have our judge tonight, so if I can please introduce Gill Adams, our judge for tonight.
Okay.
Yes?
Yes, all right.
Evening light.
Right, okay. I just want to see if they can actually hear me. I did. Because my microphone's just here.
Yes, it's
Okay,
good.
all right.
We can hear you.
Far away.
Oh, good. Okay, that's good. It's a bit weird. Right, hello everyone. Yeah, I have done this before. It's slightly odd, but I should just ignore the fact I've got a microphone stuck on me and just talk, and hopefully they'll hear me. Okay, right. Oh. Is that okay? Yeah. Okay. All right. So, got a wide variety of subjects tonight, which is lovely, and a bit of a mixture of colour and mono, which is great as well. And it's going to be a bit of a challenge evening, and there could be a few held back. So I hope you've got a held back table somewhere. Right. I try not to hold too many back. This is what I always say, and I always hold up quite a bit. So there you go. You'll have to excuse me if I do that. Anyway, so what did they have a title? Sorry, did you read me the title out? That's all right. Evening Flight. Thank you. Right. Yeah, as I captured very well, and yeah, it's quite a difficult time to take it, isn't it, with dusk, because you've got very sort of little light, and I know the bird is quite small in this picture. It still is quite dominant, and I'm going to say that word a lot, and you'll get fed up of me. I think it's because it's white and grey, and it really stands out against this old bit of fencing there. And there's some lovely sort of textures and colours in the fence as well. So there's sort of extra pictures as well. So quite small, but quite dominant. And I think he's on that third as well, which is good. So he's flying sort of away from you. What was I going to say there? And the light has picked him up well. Okay, you can't see its head so much, and its eyes doesn't really matter. It's just the fact of the light on the bird itself really makes it stand out. I suppose you're being fussy, maybe crop a little bit off the top. I think you drift slightly out of the picture at the top, and I think this sort of area is the strongest part. But sort of composition, I think, works through. It's unusual because normally the birds tend to fill the picture, so they sort of make that the small part, but make it strong. I think does work very well. So the first one is a held back.
Winter on the coast.
Right. Well, I have to say, it feels a bit like that. So I've actually got a jumper on, which is very unusual for me in September. Usually haven't, and I'm wearing dresses and stuff, but it must be cold tonight. Yeah, it looks like it's also very moody, doesn't it? It's got that kind of like, you don't go to the beach. Only photographers go to the beach on a day like this, or dog walkers, I think, public stay at home, But yeah, so moody old sky there, quite overcast. But even on an overcast day, you do get a lot of reflections, don't you, in shadow? And here we have them in the water here. And yeah, I like the difference in tonal range here, the lighter to the dark. And okay, you haven't got so much light, and doesn't matter so much. I think on an overcast day, you're never going to get light and everything. But certainly, I think it's very, it's great when you can get that reflective light. It really brings up the water. And you've got a figure here as well, or maybe figures, just in the right spot, again on a third. And, you follow it through and follow this person through. I say it's a little bit of a blank sky, but you have got some detail. It's some interest here. In an ideal world, you have a kite or something that someone was up there, but you haven't got that. But yeah, like this sort of feeling of atmosphere here, the moodiness of the picture, I think works well. So we're going to go 16 on that one. So I have to get my glasses a second. It's not that I can't see, it's just that some of the finer details, it just helps. It's the worst thing about your eye getting short-sighted, isn't it?
Well, we wouldn't get old.
Oh, I know. I think it's computers that did it, actually, looking at screens all the time. So it is a bit, isn't it? No, I have actually no idea where that is. And yeah, monochrome, I always think that, sort of dereliction of things works well in mono. Mainly because, there's nothing to distract you, is there? It's just, the statement can come out very well in monochrome, and here we have it. Great sky, I think, very dramatic sky that you've got. Lovely sort of blacks and whites in it and mid-tones, great. And yeah, I mean, these are all shut up, aren't they? It's winter time, something like that. No one cares about them, this kind of thing. And yeah, it's a kind of abandoned field, but we've still got the light, so you know, maybe it'll come to life again. Who knows? Yeah, on the other side, I think it's again offset. You've got a lighter area, darker areas here. A sort of grassy area here in the middle. Don't know what this building is here. Part of the scene again, but it's just that sort of emptiness thing. So it's like it's a kind of the end of the time, end of season kind of thing. It's coming across here. And you sort of think what's going to happen next to it. That's the impression. But yeah, very good printing. I say lovely detail in it. We'll go with 15 on that one, please. 15, sorry. Shout at me if you can't hear.
Enigma.
Okay. This is the one to puzzle the judge, I think. Yeah, I say this one, it's almost on a kind of very soft, almost like arty sort of paper, isn't it? It probably isn't, but that's the impression that you get. And I don't really, I don't quite know why you got a spoon and sort of cloth and a feather, really. I guess that's why it's got the title. But yeah, I think the elements do work, having said that. So you've got a white background, white cloth, but you know, the detail of the cloth has come out well. We can see all the sort of marks and hole marks in it. I guess it's like a dishcloth kind of thing. And the silver spoon stands out well. And I like the fact you've got this little bit of silver at the bottom that just goes with the spoon that you've got here. So the two work together. Maybe it's sort of about textures here because you've got very sort of soft feathery here. And maybe this is kind of harsher spoon and softer kind of cloth that you're on. So maybe that's the point of it. I don't know. I expect they'll tell me at half time. But yeah, three elements go together. You know, I think they're sort of kept apart well. Although the spoon is on the cloth, I think the lighting makes it sort of 3D and stand out. So it's an interesting. So I don't understand the story behind it, but I like this sort of composition here. We are going to go 15 on that one, please.
Mr. Fox.
Oh, Mr. Fox. Yeah, I saw a few. I think we was on holiday in Wales actually, creeping across the road. But yeah, they like to rummage in bins, don't they, and things like that. Yeah, you don't always often see them in monochrome, the Fox pictures. So again, good to see it. And I think he's seen you, I suspect. And I don't know if he's been caught in some lights, car lights or something like that. But his eyes are very sort of staring at you, aren't they? And yeah, sort of captured well. I know you've only got sort of the head and the sort of part of the body. Don't think that really matters here. I think because the eyes are so strong, you don't need to see the rest of the body here. Little bit of foreground there, quite soft. Again, doesn't matter so much because you've got the detail of the fox's head. And again, background out of focus here. But there's a bit of a story here, isn't it? Because you don't quite know what it is he's seeing you or some prey or something like that. So I'll say a bit of an interesting sort of backstory, I think. But yeah, I think he works well. Yeah, we're going to hold that one back, please. So too much to choose from tonight. It is good. Go back.
Inca tern looking into the dark.
Right. Okay. I've no idea what sort of bird it is. But yeah, again, captured well. You know, again, the lighting I think has helped here. Maybe you've used some sort of lighting just to light this area here. I've got lots of detail on the feathers here, and especially on the beak, a lovely red beak against the yellow stands out well. It's slightly darker at the back here, but we haven't blended in the background here. We can still see the detail here. Yeah, and you've got the old important catchlight in the eye, as we're always told you have to have, and that kind of thing. But yeah, it sort of brings the eye to life a little bit here. But you've got lighting, I think, on the branch, I think important. I think if you didn't have that lighting, I think it would sort of bird would be sort of floating a little bit in the dark here. So I think that's important to have it. Does it have too much of foreground? Yeah, I don't think so, because you've got quite a big area here with the branches here. But so, you know, lovely colours here with the reds and the yellows here really standing out. And yeah, quite challenging to have a black background, but you know, I think he does sort of stand out very well. So we're going to go 16 on that one, please.
Pendragon Castle, Cumbria.
Cumbria, is it? Sounds like it should be in Wales, doesn't it? You know, like Pendragon, but it's in Cumbria. Yeah, come on again. It's also a bit, I don't know. No, HD is the wrong word, but it's sort of got a relief to it, isn't it? It comes out at you here. Yeah, again, I think good tonal range here. Lots of mid-tones here. Maybe a hint of black here and a hint of white, but I'd say it's mainly based on mid-tones. Yeah, enjoy the tufts of grass at the front. Give you a good lead in and good sharpness on them. I think you need that because you know they're very close to the edge here. You need the sharpness. Enjoy the lead in this sort of stone wall here as they have in Cumbria, and quite a moody old sky again, isn't it? And you can imagine it's going to rain. It's that kind of that weather here. No people in it. I can see. Oh, there are people right at the distance. I don't think you wanted them here. I think you needed them there because it's the sort of the rugged old buildings, isn't there? The rugged and the landscape it's in that moody sky. So I think having people too dominant, I think, would overtake that picture. So yeah, but captured well. Ruins and sort of atmosphere. I think it comes across well in the picture. So we hold up my Mac. I think we will. I'll just go and grab this for. Put that somewhere safe. Oh, right. Oh, that's unfair, isn't it? And oh, look at that. Yeah, it's just trying hard, isn't it? That poor dog in the middle. It's almost. I have to admit, actually. I mean, if that was a human, he'd be like really fed up, wouldn't it? You know, but sort of pushing and shoving as you do. You know, like the sales, isn't it? Everyone goes mad in the sales. You know, to get something that's probably overpriced anyway. But there you go. But yeah, a bit of fun here, isn't it, as well? And I think maybe you've got something in front of you for the dogs. You know, they're sort of looking very intently, as dogs do. That sort of look. And the one in the middle, say, is just trying to get their head in here and just not succeeding. Maybe. But they're a trailer or something like that. So it's a bit of a narrow gap. Lovely lighting, I think. Honestly, not too harsh, but brought out the fur of the dogs and sort of giving those catchlight, quite a lot of catchlight in the eye. Don't think it matters particularly. It's sort of about the story of the dog, isn't it? The dog sort of fighting, not fighting, but kind of battling for space in a nice kind of way, and comes across here. And yeah, I think you've got enough around it to tell it's what it is, but it's not overtaking the picture. So I'm sorry, that's another one held back. Sorry. Yeah, not all of them will be. I promise. I promise. I promise.
Waterfall.
That's a bit of a mouthful, isn't it? That's the thing you have to practice, don't you? You have been. Oh, that's all right. Yeah. Oh, okay. I hope you got out of the hotel. Well, they do say the best ones are taken at the roadside, don't you? Yes, where the tripod holes are. That's what someone told me, no judge. Yeah, another moody. You like your moody pictures, don't you? Your moody skies here, I have to say. But yeah, another lovely moody sky. No, it's like the sort of, the light coming through at the back here, this bit of a dramatic cloud. And sometimes it's difficult, isn't it? You get the sun coming through like that because you can lose all the detail. But here we've retained it. It's slightly white, going to white, but it has got detail in it, which I think is great. Yeah, and again, with waterfalls or water, do we slow them right down? Do we keep them very sharp? And here we've sort of gone for half and half, I think. So we've got this sort of sharp, almost icy feel at the top and a sort of flowing feel at the bottom, which I think works together well. And I like the fact it's a flowing out of the edge here. Again, you might say it needs some rocks for it to go over. Because it sort of drags you out the picture. I don't think it does in this case. I think it works because you've got the strong rocks on the other side of it here. But yeah, moody sky, lovely lighting here, and sort of a difference in water. I think really makes a lovely picture here. I'm jealous. I want to go there. That is another held back. I'm sorry.
A gift for Ollie.
Right. This is an intriguing one, isn't it? It's a singer holding what looks like it looks like a bra, actually. I don't know if I'm right or wrong. Anyway, again, I think he's interesting in mono, you know, any distractions that you don't see, excuse the phrase. But again, you know, the lighting used, I think, is effective here. Sort of brought out the kind of the hair, isn't it? You can imagine they're performing, they're hot and bothered and things like that. The hair is swept back, and it kind of gives that impression here. Also picked up the detail on the leather and given us lots of detail on the creases, which works. Possibly lost a little bit on the bottom here. And I think sort of having seen the leather jacket, you'd like to sort of see the leather at the bottom here, if that's what he's wearing, just to sort of add to the feeling of sort of atmosphere he's got here. But this is this bit that intrigues me here. I guess maybe someone's thrown it or something. But again, the lighting works here, doesn't it? And sort of brought out the detail, so to speak. But again, it's a bit of a story here, and you wonder why they're holding it there. So yeah, I'm a bit of intrigued. But yeah, sort of atmosphere. Glad he's not really looking at you, sort of holding the scene but engaged. So I say, you know, it's a bit of a mystery, this picture here. So we'll go a 16 on that one, please. Someone's going to explain all these later on to me. Yeah, I'm probably getting it all wrong because that's what happens when you judge. You say all these things, someone goes, no, that's wrong, wrong, wrong. Yeah, you got to say, you got some lovely monos tonight, yeah. And again, often we do see jugs, don't we, in colour. So lovely to see it in black and white. And yeah, I don't do massive still lifes. I've got to admit, I think it takes quite a lot of patience and a lot of planning. And you know, the thing is that it will say, well, because it's under your control, that everything should be correct. I don't think that's always true, because you might take it and think it's great, perfect, and then it's a little bit creeps in at the corner, this kind of thing. So yeah, there's a lot of looking and being very meticulous. Yeah, lovely arrangement. Attractive jug. I got a bit of design on it here. I think because it's monochrome here, it doesn't detract. I think if it had colour, I think you probably detract a little bit from the colours of the fruit. So I think, so using mono, I think is the right thing. Interesting sort of almost a crackly kind of broken background here. Again, quite soft. Kind of fits with the jug here as well. So very sympathetic to it. Enjoy the arrangement as a grapes. So it can be quite challenging, but with the lighting reviews, again, has brought out the shape of the grapes here and gives us a little bit of a highlight. So it just sort of gives them a bit of 3D as well. I like the pears as well. They look good enough to eat, actually. So the whole thing does. But yeah, well positioned. 3. Again, and they just start while they're sort of sitting at the bottom of the a jug here as well. A little bit of space back and sort of around and the bottom and the top. Again, I think the jug sits nicely in it. Yeah, I think it's been well done. So I still love so hard. So yeah, thanks. That's you know, a very good effort. So another held back. Probably find the second half they're not held back, but you never know.
Harvest team.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays, these tractors, all sorts of things, haven't they? They've got Wi-Fi and sat-nav and God knows what else, you know. And how did they manage in the old days? You know, I have no idea. Perhaps it was you know, I guess they had more people doing it. But now and they cost a fortune, don't they? But yeah. Again, we've got a bit of an overcast day, but it certainly allows the orange reds to stand out here against that sky. And, you know, it's a sort of typical scene, you know. In the past, you wouldn't have seen pylons, but of course now, you know, you get pylons as sort of fields of crops and things like that. The thing go together. In a way, you know, it's a kind of industrial area, isn't it, with the pylons and the machinery and things like that. So it sort of goes together as well. As you can see the man in it, and I quite like the fact you've got this sort of reflection in his window behind as well. I think that works quite well. You know, I see a little bit of threshing here. You know, I do well. It'd be good. He'd be throwing up a bit more of the thing that he's done here, just to add a bit of extra emphasis here. But yeah, it certainly sort of captured the feeling of, you know, machined against sort of a semi-nature, I would say. I think that's come across well, and a good movie sky here. Okay, so we're going to go 15 on that one, please.
Oats on Loch Lynn.
Right. I have no idea what Loch Lynn is. It sounds Scottish. It probably isn't. Yeah, again, monochrome, lovely moody sky. And I think landscapes, you know, they can work very well in mono and colour, but yeah. Again, you know, with mono, perhaps they kind of sort of take out the distractions and you can just sort of enjoy shapes and shadows such a lot. Yeah, okay, wonderful skies. It's sort of grey areas at the back. There's a wonderful cloud bank here. Lovely contrast in it here. And again, you know, lovely reflections in the water from the cloudscape here. boats are modern, not much you can do about it. It's just the way they are. But having said that, the lighting, I think, gives them a shape, gives them an emphasis. And the reflection of the mast, I think, works well here as well. And they're well spaced out as well. So they don't sort of clutter, and you can enjoy them as their sort of own identity. Again, you're not going to get that kind of sort of overcast lighting. You're not going to get detail, everything in the background here. And obviously it's a little bit darker here and here. But we have got lighter areas here. But we can still, enjoy the sort of shape of the mountains or the bit we've got here. So I think you can forgive that for lighting here. But yeah, lovely sort of moody atmosphere, this one. Right, okay, what else have we got here? We're going to go 16 on that one, please. They're still hearing okay on that? Okay, right, okay.
I got a good brilliant sound.
Oh, okay, right.
Evening drinks south.
All right, excellent. Is that for the drink or the judging? I don't know. Probably for the drinks. Yeah. Yeah. It's very busy, doesn't it? I mean, it's very hard, because it's such a busy skyline, isn't it? Which bits do you pick out? But yeah, again, I think this works in mine. I think, again, if you could color, you get a lot of perhaps distractions. And but this one we can kind of enjoy the buildings, I think, as well. And the kind of modernness of them, if that's the phrase I can use. I know we've cropped them a little bit at the top. Don't really think it matters. We know enough about what's behind it to give us a sense of the atmosphere here. Yeah, the people here, obviously enjoying themselves. I'm not sure that's someone official. I can see like a bit of a walkie-talkie thing here. And maybe he's either joining in or he's going to tell them to stop being troublemakers. Who knows here? But yeah, they're all loud and they're little groups. They're not socialising each other, are they? Do you know what I mean? They're all quite sort of separate, which is quite odd. You think you'd go out and talk to each other, but you don't. It's very British, isn't it? I have to say. But yeah, and there they are. But they're obviously enjoying themselves. And these two are. I'm not sure about these two. I think she might be ignoring her a bit. So possibly it's the end of a friendship here. Who knows? But yeah, I say you can imagine all the stories here. Perhaps it's a shame we sort of crop the feet off here a little bit. I guess maybe you saw it. You had to take it quite quickly. But it would have been good to see it because that's quite a strong figure in your foreground here. And obviously they're quite playing a part. So it would be great to see this character here as well. But apart from that, I sort of enjoy the atmosphere. The story, again, it's one for the imagination about what's going on here. So we'll go, we're going to have 14 on that one, please.
Storm over Southwold.
Oh, good old Suffolk. We're travelling around a bit tonight, aren't we? Oh, look, that moody sky again. I thought we did have a lot of it in July, didn't we? It was just rain and rain and rain, wasn't it? There you go. But that proves you can have rainy pictures. Yeah, good old Southwold with very expensive beach huts there. Cost some silly money. Albeit if you kept, it has to be said. And here they are looking very pristine. And those sort of soft colours, or blues and yellows, stand out well against that moody sky. And yeah, again, no one but photographers is out there, tucked up in the pub probably. But yeah, you get the beach to yourself and everything else. Yeah, again, lovely sort of shadows and reflections on the water here. Obviously, on that lights coming through here, and just it sort of adds a bit of texture to the pathway here. A good old moody sky here. You can imagine there's lots of water out there, and it's going to be stormy and everything like that. So you've got that feeling here. Do we need people? I don't think so. It's about sort of nature, isn't it? And sort of how it sort of affects, the landscape that we create, I think comes across in the picture here. So we're going to go 17 on that one, please.
Dewdrops.
Yeah. We had a lot of that, didn't we, earlier in the year? And last night. Did you ever? I had loads of rain last night at home. It was just too much. It was raining on the way here as well, so I expect it will be deluged on the way back. Again, quite a simple picture. I think geos can be quite hard to take because, if you get a lot of them, it's depending, again, which one you're going to have. But yeah, I think it's worked well here and enjoy the sharp, you've got the sharpness on the stem. I think it's important because it's such a simple picture. And enjoy the green coming through the water here as well. And it's giving it, there's a colour, but there's a translucent to it as well that you can see through it. Background, I think, works out of focus. It's very soft green. It's very attractive to this area here. Possibly you needed maybe a couple more dewdrops, maybe just one here, 3, just to sort of give a bit of emphasis to this bottom area here. But having said that, you know, beautiful sort of simple picture with some beautiful textures and coloration in it. So we're going to go 17 on that one, please. Careful not to keep that behind me.
Herne Bay sunset.
Oh, good old Herne Bay. Well, they said they've really done some, you know, sort of rejuvenating facts in Herne Bay, but I don't know. I haven't been there. They say these things, don't they? Leveling up or something, they call it. Anyway, yeah, great sunset, isn't it? And it's one of those kind of like an orangey brown kind of sunset. So sometimes you get sort of pinky orange, and this is browny orange. But yeah, great colours in the sky. And again, I think probably waited the right time. Waited either the sun is hidden behind something or it's gone right down. You know, sometimes when you take suns, they're still in the sky, they become very white. They look yellow to your eye, but they've sort of become out white when you take the picture. So I think right time of day. Again, you know, you lost a little bit of detail on the pier, you can't help it. Obviously, you know, but we've retained detail on these, you know, buildings at the top here. And also on this sort of helter-skelter thing, which looks great fun against the sunset. Again, no people, they've all gone home. Yeah, I would say possibly, I think the fading light is slightly grainier at the bottom. That may be the printing. But again, it adds text to the picture here. It adds to the atmosphere here. So, you'll go 17 on that one, please. 17. Oh, okay. Oh, I'm talking too quickly.
You can stay where you are if you're more comfortable.
No, it's okay.
Gill, but
Oh, it's okay. Oh, it's okay. I'll happy to. I'll move.
bear with.
Big one. The other end.
all right.
You're confusing me.
Alpenglow.
Right, that's a very vivid sky, isn't it? Really sort of vivid pink as well. Quite amazing colour. I think sometimes when you adjust the exposure, you can do things with colours as well. But yeah, it's a bit of a lovely, interesting sky. And it's sort of pinks and purples here, and reflected in the water here as well. Again, we've got our boats here. We have got some detail on the background. I like the fact you've got them of different sizes as well, and the way the bigger one is sort of pointing out slightly from the smaller one, I think works. And they've got enough space to move into here as well, important. And you've got the romantic couple on the beach here as well, or maybe not. Maybe they may be arguing, but they look kind of romantic. Yeah, looking out to the sunset here. Again, we've waited till the sun's gone down, so we get the reflection, or I say that the sun is actually hidden here, but because of that, we're not getting this very white sort of area in the sky here. And an attractive sort of almost orangey colour here in the water here. Again, you know, you're not going to get details on these sort of areas behind. Doesn't matter, the silhouette. I think it's the colour of the sky and the water that you want to see in the picture here. We're going to go 15 on that one, please. Some otters.
Yeah. Otter affection.
Right. Oh, that's just beautiful things, aren't they? And I'm glad there's sort of more of them, because there was a bit of quite a decline. It's a declining species, which is very sad. But yeah, and they don't hang about though, that's for sure. You have to be quick or take a lot of pictures with otters. They're lively little things. But yeah, they are, aren't they, these two? I guess that's maybe a young one, I think, possibly. And yeah, sort of looking up, or the little one's looking at this one isn't here. But yeah, you get the feeling there's a relationship between two coming across well. This must be perhaps a male or something ignoring them. Who knows? But it doesn't matter. You feel it's part of the group, of the setting you've got. Yeah, again, quite sort of gentle lighting, but lots of lovely detail in the fur. catches light in the eye, not so much in this one, doesn't matter. The eye's half shut. That doesn't really matter here. And a little bit of sort of wetness to the fur, which I think the sun has picked up here. Yeah, background pretty out of focus here. Doesn't detract from the sort of beauty of the otters here. Possibly a little bit soft at the foreground here. Slightly in his tail here. I guess maybe you saw it, you had to take it quite quickly, but in an ideal way, that'd be perhaps a little bit of sharpness with the tail in his foreground, because it's kind of your lead in here. But sort of love the kind of feeling that this sort of interaction between. I think that works very well. And I say it's not the easiest thing to take because they don't tend to hang about. So we're going to go 16 on that one, please.
Fungus stat.
Right, it'll be the time soon, won't it? Well, a few weeks. Well, but I suppose we might get them at the moment. It seems too easy to have a job lot of rain. Yeah, I've no idea what sort of fungi these are, but they're rather lovely. They're very delicate looking, and yeah, and so it's you know, sometimes you get fungi and you see them one day and they're beautiful, and the next day you go to look at them, they've just been absolutely ruined by rain or wind. So it's great when you get perfect specimens, and they've been arranged, but they've been very kind to you and arranged themselves in the right way, haven't they? And join a clump at the bottom and a little separation of the smaller ones at the top works very well. And again, often with these, it's quite challenging. They're often in the woods and dark and getting light. You need sort of your silver foil or reflector or whatever, just to bring out the detail. And here we have it. Okay, we can't necessarily see everything underneath, but we are getting sort of hints, particularly at the top of what's underneath, the gills underneath, I think, which adds to the picture here. I think when you look at it, you've got a sort of frame within a frame here as well, of the sort of mushrooms themselves, fungi. Quite like the background, you know, these sort of lichen and stuff like that, or ferny bits, which I think works here as well. I'm not sure, but I obviously put that in to sort of emphasize it because of the shape of it, the long shape. Not 100% sure it works. I think it's got a beauty of its own, which stands out well against the background, which I think would work just as well. But having said that, you know, the sort of coloration and the way you sort of seen that against that background, I think does work very well. So we'll still go 16 on that one, please. Oh, God.
Lunch break.
Yeah, who will we do without mobile phones these days? It's bad, really, isn't it? You know. Because I remember a time we had telephone boxes. There you go. Yeah. Hey? The libraries now all defibrillators, aren't they? Things like that. And I remember all the stuff about the red phone boxes, wasn't it? How there's a big hoo-ha about getting rid of them, replacing those horrible like grey-blue things, and now we just replace them with mobile phones. So, you know, now they're kind of iconic antiques, aren't they? Red phone boxes. But there you go. So modern times, I think here. Yep, there he is. Sort of stuck between two bits of railings. They look a little bit uncomfortable on, I have to say. And yeah, I don't know whether he's totally engaged. I bet you could speak to him, he'd just totally ignore you, as you do. And I'm not sure whether he's astonished by something or someone's told him bad news, but he's got a bit of a worried expression, hasn't he? And so there's a bit of a story here as well. Bit of a modern setting here. I quite like the fact that you've got the tree behind it, the sort of spring blossom. It sort of softens against this slightly industrial kind of seating here as well. Yeah, in a way, you kind of want to know more about him, don't you? What it is, you know. If there was a hint, perhaps of something else, you would see it. But yeah, but he's in his setting, isn't he? And I say it's very much a reflection of modern times here. But the story is that, you know, what is it he's seen here, and what's coming across here. So go a 14 on that one, please.
The store.
Sorry, the store. Okay. Sorry? Oh, right. Okay. Not a store with an E. Oh, right. It's going to stop looking what? Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, another moody picture here, isn't it? And bit of, I don't know, is it water or is it just mist? Maybe mist in this picture. But yeah, captured it moodily here. And I think the letterbox aspect suits it here. Really sort of encompasses that lots of moody sky here. Again, you know, you've got quite overcast, so you're never going to get lighting on everything. But again, we've got plenty of detail here. You've got your mid-tones. I can see some blacks and some whites here as well. So I think it works. It is quite sort of quite jagged and scary, not the sort of place you want to be stuck on your own. I'm probably totally wrong. There's probably a road there somewhere you can't see. But yeah, it does give that impression here. Possibly we don't know how to scale of it here. We get a hint of it here. Possibly in this case, a lone figure would sort of give you that sense of scale here. But having said that, really enjoy the atmosphere of it here. And I say it works very well as a letterbox shot. And so again, some lovely printing here as well. Very moody, isn't it? Yeah. So we'll go 16 on that one, please. If I'm standing here.
Sunset over Porth or Porth door.
Yeah. Could have just said sunset, you know. Yeah, again, lovely scarlet colour, isn't it? And it's a sort of pinky orange sort of sunset tonight. And again, I think we've waited the right time for the sun to go down or to hide there. We've still got some orange in it here. That's the right thing to do. Okay, you know, and it's good striation, isn't it, of clouds here, different sort of shapes and colours and everything. And I think that kind of sunset, you get this very interesting sort of cloud formations. And again, you know, reflections in the water here. And again, you're never going to get massive detail water. You're always going to lose it. So you get the greys, but you get a little bit of light where the sun is coming through. And I think it helps. You've got a little bit of wave here as well. It just breaks up our sort of grey areas here. Like the bit at the front, it looks a little bit sort of muddy here. But again, it's giving it a sort of beauty, hasn't it? Because of the colour here. I think the leads, the rocks give you quite a good lead in here, quite strong rocks. And I like the fact you can sort of go to these rocks and lead your way around here as well. So yeah, another good moody sort of shot here. Do we need people, boats? I don't think we do. Again, it's all about nature. So we're going to go a 16 on that one, please.
Hairs coming through.
That's very clever tile, that. I like that one. Yeah, again, you saw the same pairs there, I don't know. But they look pretty still. Look good enough to eat again. Who knows? But yeah, and again, I think it's been well done. You know, it's a still life. Again, I think taking fruit is quite challenging again. I probably prefer to eat it myself, but there you go. But yeah, again, background I like this sort of slate grey background you've got here. This sort of breaking up of the texture, I think works well. But it kind of reflects the texture on the pears themselves. I think place well. They're just sort of leaning slightly, aren't they? The ones at the end, they're kind of talking to the one in the middle, so to speak. And I think that helps as well because it kind of leads you to the middle pair here. Again, lovely reflection. And maybe that's a glass or something you're using because you've got a reflection. But again, lovely reflection. And I think I like the softer colours on this one here against these three here. Possibly there needed something to sort of define where there was perhaps, if it was a glass, to just define between the two of them here. But that's a small point. And again, I just enjoy the reflection. I think, you know, difficult. And I think, you know, the coloration and the sort of way it's been done against them works well. So we are going to give that one a 17, please.
Malden sunset.
I don't actually live in Malden. I live in Whitton, but I actually Malden Club. So you can imagine we get a few pictures of Malden and barges and stuff like that, you know, and the church. But yeah, and do you know, I've been to Malden and I never get that sunset. I have not. Maybe I don't go at the right time. But yeah, Malden it is, and there's the good old barges. And I know it's quite a busy kind of area there because you've got the barges and the boats and everything like that. I know also to this hand side, you've got some rather horrible modern houses in the background. So well done for leaving them out because they're kind of a bit of a blot, I think, on the landscape. But yeah, interesting. You've got the, you know, lovely sort of bluish sky here and this sort of very soft pink kind of foreground here. The ducks have been very kind to you here. Maybe there's someone got some fish or something, but they've come in here and they've given you some interesting areas down here as well. As I say, it's quite a cluttered scene, but I think the angle you've given us the detail here, but you haven't allowed it to override this rather lovely colour of the water here. And of course, you've got the reflections on the mud here as well. And again, we get a sense of what's beyond here. But I think it's interesting, you know, with the sort of bluish sky and this lovely sort of soft colours here as well. And there's the pub, I think, on the left-hand side. But yeah, So I think it's been well done. Okay, we're going to give that one a. Oh, we're going to give it a 16, please. Not because I come from Malden either.
Read this one. Coprinus use in habitat. So I'm supposed to repeat it, please.
I thought it was very good actually. Obviously, you watch football matches. I don't watch them much, but you only foreign players. And they must practice for hours. These commentators are just say it off pat, isn't it? Because some have these really complicated names. Yeah, but they must practice, or you'd never be able to do it otherwise. And I went to my graduation a few years back for the Open University, and there's a lot of people, a lot of foreign names, and there was one that was really, it's an African name. It was all really, and he said this with a great flourish. And the next day he went, David Jones. He's like David Jones, you know. So, but yeah, but he had a lot of them. Fungi. Yeah, again, I think some sort of caps or something. But again, they've been captured well. I think you've got the lighting here and it's coming through. Again, you can't see under them. It doesn't really matter. We can enjoy them as they are. And I say the lighting sort of brings them out very well. I like them against the tree trunk here. That soft browns goes very well with these sort of creamy whites here. And again, I think the lighting you've got is quite good. Possibly, again, you've used a reflector to bounce back into your fungi because they're often in dark spaces, and it certainly brought them out. A little bit of greenery, I think, works as well, and it frames it well. Possibly on the right-hand side, it's part of the atmosphere here. Possibly I'll crop some of that, and you have to expand your print possibly to make it. But I think this area is a little bit white here, and you sort of drift away a little bit here. Like I say, it's part of the atmosphere. It's not quite so strong as it. I think this is a really strong part. And so lovely coloration and lovely sort of scene on it. Okay, we are going to go a 16 on that one, please. Oh, she's scraping that one. I think I know where that is.
Title won't tell you anything. Remember when you were 10?
I think I wonder if it's in Cambridge, actually. I'm sure I've got a trumpeting sheet in Cambridge and it's on the main road. Remember when you were 10? Oh, right, yeah. Yeah, monochrome again. And yeah, I don't remember when I was 10, to be honest, too long ago. But yeah, again, it's really about everything here, isn't it? A story about two boys and a bit about architecture here and some sort of fabulous architecture. And again, monochrome. You get lots of detail, lots of architecture, and it works with it and gives you lots of detail in it. Okay, you've got the street names. That doesn't really matter. It's part of the scene. And in a way, you think, do they come from there? Are they visiting? So maybe there's a story here as well. And yeah, come back from football or something by this one here, looks like it. A little girl, maybe not. No, she's not, I don't think. Yeah, but she's sort of running along the wall, isn't she? It's the sort of thing you do when you're younger, isn't it? And you think, I can do it. When you get older, you think, nah, don't do that. But yeah, that's a sense of fun. And you don't know whether he's sort of chasing her and she's going to run even faster, or whether he's just waiting for her to fall. So there's a bit of a story here as well. Pity about the sort of post here. Unfortunately, if you crop it, you're going to crop the name of the street name here as well. Possibly with the picture, maybe we can have half a sort of architecture. I know it's sort of interesting here, but I think if we had half it, we would really focus on our figures more as well. So yeah, I say it's a bit of a mixed sort of picture, architecture and characters here as well. But there's a sort of story here as well, one for the imagination. So they are 14 on that one, please.
Dried up.
Oh, yeah, I think it's one of those things, isn't it? You often see pictures where the leaves are very pristine and ever, but I think they're fascinating when they sort of die off leaves and plants and stuff. There's sort of lots of pictures in them, so I think it's great to take them. Again, I think again got a very sympathetic background here. This sort of yellowy brown thing here, I think works well. And I like the fact you can include these kind of almost S sort of shape at the bottom, and it leads you up to the lovely leaves at the top. And they've got a beauty, haven't they? Simplicity, but beauty in them that comes across here, and they're all sort of crinkled and everything. But yeah, but there's still lots of colour in them, lots of sort of coppers and chestnuts and whatever. Works really well. And despite the fact they're sort of crimped, but they are still in their own kind of way and a pristine kind of condition which comes across here. And it's kind of long lead to them here, but I think because you've got that slight S, I think it makes it a strong picture here. Again, quite soft lighting here, but again, we've got lots of textures in the leaf and the thing before. I'll say the background does work well and certainly allows that leaf to stand out. It's like a very simple subject, but done well. Okay, so that's another held back, please. How many have we got? Okay. Okay. Gotcha.
Rotting away.
Yeah. Obviously somewhere industrial, I think, judging by the stuff at the back here. Could be anywhere, could be Felixstowe, could be Ipswich, I don't know. But it looks that sort of area, doesn't it, here? But yeah, we all have a rotting boat, don't we, photographers here? And it's obviously a shame that they've just been left there, really. But yeah, sometimes someone comes along and they go, "Oh, a restoration project," you know, and let's get the money for it and everything like that. But yeah, it's a bit of a state, isn't it? Unloved, uncareful, but you know, there's lots of pictures in it, and textures here and textures there. And I quite like the fact that he's still standing, he's taking it on a slight angle here. Gives it a little bit of strength, a bit of dignity, I think, here. Like the sort of background here as well, this out of focus, this kind of industrial thing. And you kind of get the feeling that, you know, maybe the two were married up at some time in the past. Again, quite an overcast sky. I think, again, that probably suits it here. It's quite a somber kind of thing. This isn't the boat's decayed. And the sky and it sort of suits it here as well. I always think it's quite strange. They always have the ropes are always quite pristine. So someone maybe will come along and save it one day. But there's a strange contrast between the two, that this thing is left to rot, but you use sort of these wonderful ropes to keep it there. So we're going to go a 16 on that one, please. We do have a few of those at Malden rotting boats. There's one sort of on the estuary that's is a favourite, and it's gradually over the years it's got more and more sort of sunken into the mud. So one day it will go.
Stilt.
Oh.
Detail.
Oh, crikey. I've never seen a picture of one. And they're not, I don't think they're very big birds, actually. Very cool. But I mean, they're lovely, aren't they? Yeah. And yeah, sort of capture well again. And okay, you can argue the usual. Now, as an argument, didn't necessarily do anything. It doesn't really matter here. The lighting has been caught well, caught the fur, but a catch light on the eye. An enormous eye for what is probably quite a small bird. And I like the lighting on the beak, and you know, the way it's just caught the tip of the beak and things like that. Kept it in pretty well, I think. It given it enough space for the beak and the head to go into here. And so, you know, you can't see the back of it. You get a hint of sort of more of the bird beyond here. Background well out of focus here. These sort of greens and the blues that you've got here. So yeah, I think it's been done well. I say headshots can be quite difficult to sort of convey the character or the nature of the bird, but I think we've managed it here very well. And I'm jealous that you've taken a picture of the stint. So we're going to go a 16 on that one, please.
Cosmos.
Right. Okay. I think Cosmos is possibly the plant. It's a slightly sort of dreamy feel to this one, isn't it? With the way it's sort of going to this sort of almost misty area at the back here. I don't know whether that's another plant behind it you sort of softened up. I get that feeling because you've got the same kind of stems here that you've got. But I quite like the feeling of this moodiness here in the background, sort of soft grey, gets these more vibrant yellows and greens here. I think works quite well. And so it's almost a kind of paint feel to the picture here with this effect at the foreground. I think it sits well in the corner sitting here. Unusually, you've got a diagonal sort of line here, but you've used a sort of arc as well. So the two contrast well together here. Do we need a splash of yellow here? I don't think so. I think it would be quite distracting if you did. So I think that kind of combination of colours and shapes and lines, I think works quite well in the picture here. So we're going to we are going to go 15 on that one, please.
Barn owl caught in the light.
Right, okay. Yeah, let's have a quick look at him. Yeah, again, beautiful things, aren't they, barn owls? And unusual to see it sort of perhaps from that angle, the side angle here. And I like the lighting, particularly on the face that you've got here. It's really brought out the feathers. And the top of the head is giving you the texture here as well. Caught the all-important eye. I mean, they are quite deep set, aren't they, sometimes ours, but we've caught a little bit of light in here. So we are being able to see the eye well, I think. But I think it's important because the angle you're taking it at. And again, the lighting has brought out the colour of the beak here as well. Quite a black background here, but I think the lighting you've got, say, has allowed that area of the bird to stand out well. Here, possibly, there's a little bit of ruffling. It's given quite a different texture to the foreground here. But again, I think it works reasonably well. Maybe a little dark here. Maybe we need to see a little bit more detail. But I guess if you're very focusing on this area here, possibly, I think was the intention to lose that detail here, make us look at this area here. Quite a lot of black here. Again, I don't think it matters. It's sort of looking into it here as well. So yeah, an interesting use of lighting, which I think is, has made the sort of a quite effective study of the bird's sort of beak and head area particularly well. I'll go 15 on that one, please.
Reflections of childhood.
I don't remember this picture at all. There's always one or two. I look at them and I just don't come at all. But this is one of them. But yeah, certainly is, isn't it? It's the sort of thing you do when you're young, isn't it? You run about bare feet and you're going to get told off because your feet are filthy dirty, but it doesn't matter because you're having fun. I've no idea what this is, but they're obviously enjoying themselves here and they haven't got a care in the world what they're doing. Possibly there's some fountains or something here and it's not just raining. Who knows? But yeah, it's just that moment of sort of joy in childhood, isn't it? And sort of unfettered and happy here. And I like the fact that you've got this reflection that it's slightly broken up here, adds that extra interest to it here. And then you've got the people in the background, and it's interesting, you just get reflections, but we're getting quite a lot of information about them from these reflections, and we don't need to see their faces. So, in some ways they're a distraction from the filler, but at the same time they give a sort of background story and give emphasis to this separate figure and and how small it looks in comparison to the figures at the back, and they all look like adults. It's like a child, so you get that sort of contrast between the two. So yeah, quite a simple picture, but I think the reflections really help it, really sort of make it. So another one, held back, please. Held back, please. Yep. See, we're getting to the end of the poll then. Another 4.
5. Whirler.
Wow. That's colourful, isn't it? Yeah, a whirler to be sick on, I think they are. And I do like them, but it's like those are waltzes, and if you sit on the wrong side, you get squashed. So I'm clever. I always sit on the side that's the non-squash bit. But yeah, I think last time the person sort of whacked up the speed quite a lot. It's a bit come off sort of like you come off and you can't stand up straight, and you sort of wobble about quite a lot. But yeah, obviously loved by people. But yeah, I say it's sort of certainly spinning, isn't it? And then maybe you've done a bit of panning as well to add to it. You almost got sort of 2 of them at the bottom here, the effects here. So it's quite effective and amazing sort of colours, isn't it, coming out? Almost like rainbow, not rainbow colours, but it's sort of multi-colours coming out in the sky. Then of course you've got this quite ordinary sky behind, and the colours really do stand out against these sort of things here. I like the fact you've got the people. I know you've sort of cropped them at the bottom, but you've got this feeling of sort of stillness in the foreground, as with this as well, and this kind of almost surreal kind of thing spinning around. And so there's a good contrast here. I don't know if there's any people on it. I guess there probably are down the bottom, but again, you can't see them because it's all about the colour and the movement here. Possibly it's a little bit. I guess you have to see it. It's a little bit cropped at the top, and I'd like to see just a little bit of space above it, just for some of those sort of shapes to move into here. But apart from that, it's it's a sort of great picture of movement. It works really well. So we are going to go 16 on that one, please. This looks foreign.
The shard across the
Oh, it's not foreign at all. It's in London. Yeah. Has anybody ever been up? Can you go up the shard? Has everybody ever been up there?
Mm.
Does it make you feel like, is it a long way up? Oh, all right. So not a place of you've got vertigo then? Oh, right, okay. Yeah. Oh, is there? So thinking not. Yeah. I think we'll go 50. I've been in Spinnaker in Portsmouth, and that's a long way up as well. Yeah. Okay, the good old Shard. Yeah, I told a friend of mine. She went on the that thing that goes across the Thames, you know, and She didn't think it was that high, and she suffered some vertigo. So that wasn't a good. And everyone else is going, oh, look at this, look at this. She's just said, I was looking at the floor. Horrible. Anyway, again, you know, night shots. Again, I think we've taken it at the right time here. You know, it's not, we haven't quite lost all the light in the skies. I think it's probably a good time to take it. And we've retained detail in the clouds. And I think the time of day, possibly a slightly windy day, because you've got these quite sort of moving kind of clouds here. But because of the lighting, we've got some good lighting on the buildings here. And I think these are quite modern and sort of like lumped together. But I think this sort of stands out against it. And yeah, good choice. And it gives you a sense of scale, doesn't it, having these smaller buildings here and against the Shard here as well. Quite a fact you've included the bridge here as well. It gives you a sense of scale. No boats. Either you were very patient or you've taken them out or it just wasn't any long. But again, we know we've got some interesting reflections in the water here as well. Possibly a boat would sort of give extra emphasis to the water. But I say, because we've got reflection, I think it doesn't really matter that much. But yeah, so good sort of moody sky and good lighting. I think, you know, picking out the details of London, I think works well. So we'll go. Oh, there is a boat. Oh, it's a land. It's a pier, isn't it? It's the pier down there. Yeah, I can see some people on it looking closely. So we're going to go 17 on that one, please. Cool.
Summer balloons.
Oh, what was that? Summer, what's that? It's a funny word, isn't it? They look like lavatier or something like that. Or hibiscus. Very bright, aren't they, and cheerful. And yeah, very vivid. And yeah, I think the lights you've got probably works here. You know, someone said the lighting's too harsh. You do get shadow, but it becomes very dark and very sort of takes away the detail. And when you look at that, although they're quite sort of a big flare, they're very delicate inside here as well. So I think that lighting really enhances that delicateness that you've got. Like the fact you've got sort of two and there's sort of one looking away from you, and just a bud, and you can imagine that will come out soon. So that sort of adds to the feeling here as well. You've sort of got almost sort of four flowers here. And sometimes they say odds don't work, but you know, evens don't work. But I think in this case it does. You've got the sharpness on the little buds here as well. And I think the lighting again brings them out. Possibly it's a little bit close to the edge, maybe just have a little bit more for it to move into. Here I think it does. Here it's a little bit near the edge. But beautiful lighting, I said, and certainly brought out the lovely sort of colours and sort of detail of the flower. Comes across well. So we're going to go 15 on that one, please.
Sunflower.
It is a sunflower. Yeah, someone over the back of us has started growing sunflowers. They look really good. I thought they'd all died off, but these are big and they smile at you when you look out the window and they're great. Really cheerful on a dull day. Yeah, again, you know, possibly this is a sunflower sort of as it's fading slightly here, but again, it's got a beauty of its own. And yeah, sort of the soft, the yellows and the insides were. And again, I think the background, I think, works here. It's almost possibly it's the thing standing on is some sort of tile, but this sort of bluey grey background works well with against the yellow because blues and yellows contrast, and obviously greens and yellows are complementary to each other as well. And I enjoy the pot here as well. I think it suits the sunflower. I know obviously there's quite a lot of the stem in the pot. It kind of dominates the pot itself, but doesn't override it in a way. It's sort of sympathetic to it here. You know, like possibly an ideal world, if you were really playing, you could have a couple of petals down the bottom here, just to give you a little extra bit here at the bottom. But yeah, but say, enjoy the simplicity. And I think the colour that you've used here, and sort of the tonal range, and even the sort of textures of the back, I think work well in the picture here. But they're hard to do as still lifes. So we're going to go 16 on that one, please.
Yeah, this is the last one.
Okay.
Up to you.
Okie dokie. Oh, so Mr. Fox, we're going to go 17 on. And that's one.
Mr. Fox,
Mr. Fox.
17.
I do that now.
Yes, good point.
Says a bit ominous, doesn't it? Yeah, but the easiest way is to work out the top ones and then work out the other. Think easy. Okay, we're going to go this one. We're going 17 on this one. It's very boring to say 17. 17, yes. We're going to go then.
Oh, beg your pardon. Sorry. Lynn. Well done. I didn't want to give it away, so I was your secret squirrel. Now, of course, I can. Oh,
Okay, I'm going slightly back on. This is a 16. I'm going slightly back on myself here. This one. Sorry, was that one, did you say? Oh, that one. That's a 17, that one. That's a 16. We've done down to now. So you're going to go. I'm going to go 17 on this one. Keeps you fit with this, isn't it? Going up and down.
and Dragon Castle, Cumbria, 17. By me.
That's
Me.
Have we done that? Have we done that one? We've done that one, right? I don't want to do... Right, okay, I don't want to do the off here. Right. Yes, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. It's a bit of a challenge here. Well, okay. This one, I think we'll have an 18 on that one.
Chris Shepherd.
I know that now. I think. You, is it? There's no bribery involved. No. No. I like your style. Oh, nasty. Nasty, nasty. I think this one is going to be a 19. Oh, we're racking up the tension here, people. I know you can't wait. You can't wait. Is that you? How's you? Me, you.
We've got 3 left.
Oh, yeah, of course we have. Okay. I think they're all going to be 20s because I can't make them separate them. Yeah.
This one is the screen, big lots, 20. Not very hot.
That tile.
Dog and fruit, 20. Got a Joe Wheel. Like up in the walk before, over there. What's been done?
Yeah.
You can do it again, you know.
Freudian slip.
You made everyone very happy and you've given them all 20s of it.
Right.
Oh, first print competition here. First lead print competition for a very, very long time. Before COVID.
Oh my God, that is a long
So,
time.
a lot of our members are printing for the first time, and the WhatsApp group was just full of people going, "Oh, it's
The beauty of what's in.
We've also had new scoring system and new submission system and new live streaming as well. So it's been an adventure.
It's been a bit of adventure, you're absolutely right.
I'm really glad you came this time because
Well, Gill had the adventurous journey here.
Yeah.
floods and
It was a lot of rain out there, yeah. Several large puddles with hiding. Yeah. That's where the fish and chips floated off to down the arc, I reckon.
gently and talking about all the and you know everybody at least feel that their image is been viewed.
Oh, thank you. Very kind of you. It's, oh.
Thank you.
That's some really, really lovely images. So quite hard to choose actually. Yeah. So well done to everyone. I'm glad you all got your printing sorted out and the rest of it. And hopefully they could all hear on Zoom as well. That's excellent, yeah. Sometimes it can be, I've been to other clubs and it's been a bit of a challenge because it's something new. So, you know, so you obviously sussed it out really well. Well, that's all right. As long as you've got a mic, that's all that matters. I think last year, early this year, I had to take a microphone with me for my little karaoke because I got such a back off for Christmas. I couldn't actually speak without my microphone. I had to take it with me. Otherwise, no one would have heard me. My voice would have gone. Like so.
Did you judge on Zoom?
Yeah, I judged on Zoom quite a lot. DPIs and prints. I think it worked better for the DPIs than the prints because you tend to lose the small details on the prints as well. You know, you had to do what you had to do at the time, didn't you? You know,
That's right.
and you only had it's. I think some of the clubs didn't, and I think unfortunately it impacted on them later on when they came back. I've been impacted anyway. I think
I haven't come across it about in early 2020.
I don't think any. I think yeah. I think once the word got out on sort of social media, that was it. Everyone had Zoom, didn't it? And I think they were very generous because they were letting you use it far more than you were supposed to use it.
Isn't the case now?
No, not the case now. No, quite.
The old rep.
Right. Yeah, it's not too bad, is it? To be honest, I've seen worse. And but again, it looks like I don't know what it was once. I mean, I think it's a working, but it sort of looks that way, doesn't it? And Yeah, again, it's a slightly moody day, I think, but not so much so. But yeah, stands out well. I think the lighting makes it stand out, and I quite like the sort of lower angle here. Again, it's got a bit of dignity, though it's quite rustic. dusty and old. And so that works in the picture here. And yeah, like the sort of lighting on the background here as well, and on the mud itself or the marshy bits. Just picking up the stones and the shadows works well here as well. I suppose you could argue maybe the boat should be in the middle here, but I think it works where it is. And I think in a way this kind of, quite sort of mountainous background. It kind of fits in with the boat here as well. They've both got a kind of a magnificence about them, in the picture here. And okay, good cloudscape. here really fills up that sky. So yeah, I think it works well in the picture here. Possibly, did we need a person? Possibly another bow here? Possibly, just to fill in that area here. But I say, you know, the combination of colours and sort of textures and shapes, I think does work well in the picture here. So we are going to give that one. And there's some little houses here as well, just to give you a sense to scale here as well. I just noticed as well. It's a bit sad seeing that really when it's like that. What have we got held back? We'll hold it back. It's the executive decision, that one.